Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. How is everyone doing? If you're here for the first time, hello, my name is Jennifer. I'm a bead making tutor here on YouTube. I'm a beginner friendly beading tutorials. Thank you for being here, okay? So today we'll be remaking a design I made earlier, but I had to take down because apparently the brand wasn't comfortable with me recreating the design even after I credited them. But I guess that was just not enough. I have to apologize to most of you because I know that the whole situation caught you all off guard. I heard that most of you were already on the bag and you were stuck somewhere. It wasn't just nice hearing all those things. I know how much you all anticipated that tutorial. I'm so sorry about it. I want to thank everybody for all the love you all showed me in my previous post. Honestly, wow. Did not expect that. You all gave me a lot of encouraging words, moral support, and I'm just so happy to be back. I figured out something quickly, and here it is. Drum roll. Ta-da! This is what we are going to work with. As you can see, this is how the bag looks like. The fringes are just placed in front, and they do not connect to the other side like I did in my previous tutorial, which apparently was someone else's design. Okay, so we do not want to replicate that because of infringement issues. I asked my followers on Instagram, I did a poll asking if I should place the fringes just in front or it should be a double-faced fringe. I think the first few votes I got was this, and that is what we're going to work with today. I have to say, this design was created by Jennifer and her subscribers. I also like the versatility of this purse. If you do not want to carry it as a clutch, then there is a spare handle. You can just place on your shoulder in case you're tired of carrying it on your hand, which is really cool. So let's get right on with this tutorial, guys. See ya! For this tutorial, you need some beads. We are going to use these sugar beads in size 10. You'd also need your fishing line. Today we're going to use 0.60 millimeters, and that is all for the body of this bag. For the fringes, I got about 5 extra strands of crystal beads, but I definitely won't use all for this. Then you'd also need a lighter size of fishing line for the fringes, and we're going to use 0.40 millimeters for that. You'd also need 2 pairs of magnetic buttons. You'd also need some gold chain. This is optional, okay? I got about a yard of this. And lastly, your scissors. That is all you'll be needing for this project. Let's go. We want to start with the sides of this bag first. To do that, we cut out a fresh fishing line, and on the left hand side of the line, we are going to add 6 beads in total. Once that is done, we drag down 5, then we cross both ends of the line into the last one added, like this. Then we draw that all the way down, and this is what we have. We just made our first ring. To continue, on the left hand side of the line, we are going to add 3 beads. 1, 2, and 3. Then we're just going to drag that down, while on the right hand side of the line, we'll add 2 beads. Then we cross both ends of the line into the last one added. Draw that down, make sure you tighten your work, okay? And now we just created our second ring. To continue, we want to repeat what we just did. On the left hand side of the line, we add 3 beads. Then on the right hand side of the line, we add 2 beads. Then we cross both ends of the line into the last one added on the right. And this is what we have. We just created our third ring. So you want to keep up with this particular step. 3 on the left, 2 on the right, then you cross both ends of the line into the last one added on the right. Keep this going until you get to 5 rings. We have done 3 so far. I am right here on the 5th ring, and this is what I have done so far. Let's do a recount, and yes, it is complete. It is now time to create the last ring on this step, and to do that, on the right hand side of the line, I'm going to add 1 bead first. I'll drag that down. Then look closely at that bead facing where we are, that bead right there. We're going to pass our line through that bead there. Then on the left hand side of the line, we'll proceed to add 3 beads, and we cross both ends of the line into the last one added. Now we have just completed the first step of the side of this bag. This is what our work looks like so far. To continue, we want to start with the second step. So the right hand side of the line will go into that next bead there. Then on the left hand side of the line, we are going to add 4 beads. Then we cross both ends of the line into the last one added. Now the first ring on the second step is complete. So if you count this in total, you count about 6 beads in total. Let's have that in mind, okay? To continue, the right hand side of the line would go into that next bead there. Then on the left hand side, we are going to add 3 beads. Then we cross both ends of the line into the last one added. And now we just created the second ring on the second step. So if you count this one we just did in total, it will give you about 5 rings, but the previous one gave us about 6 rings. Why is that so? Because the pattern we're going to follow all around this part will be 6 5 6 5. I hope that's clear. We have done 6, we have done 5. What is next? 6. So to create 6, we're going to go into 2 beads this time with the right hand side of our fishing line. Then on the left hand side, we are going to add 3 beads. Then we cross both ends of the line into the last one added. Draw that down, and this is what we have. We have done 6 5 6. What is next? 5. To create 5 this time, we will go into just 1 bead with the right hand side of our fishing line. Then on the left hand side, we are going to add 3 beads, and we cross both ends of the line into the last one added. And yeah, so you want to keep up with this particular step until you get all around this part. We have done 6 5 6 5. What is next? 6. And to create 6, we go into 2 beads, and on the left hand side we add 3 beads. But to create 5, we go just into 1 bead, and on the left hand side we add 3 beads. So keep this step going until you get all the way around. But I want you to stop at the second to the last one, because that one is going to be a little bit different. Let's go. I am right here on the second to the last one. I have completed that. It's now time to complete the last one. If you count the previous bead, you will count about 6 beads in total. That means the next step should be 5 beads, right? But here we are faced with 2 beads. But when we're making 5, we're supposed to go into just 1 bead. Now, this is what we're going to do. We're going to take our line into those 2 beads instead. Then on the left, we are going to add just 2 beads to make it 5. Okay, I hope you really understand this part. Finally, the second step of this side is complete. This is what your work should look like at the end of everything. It is now time for the final step of this part. To start, this time we want to add 3 beads to the left hand side of our line. Then we cross both ends into the last one added. Draw that all the way down, and this is what we have. To continue, the right hand side of the line will go into the next bead. Then on the left hand side, we are going to add 2 beads, and we cross both ends of the line into the last one added. To continue, repeat what we just did. The right hand side will go into the next bead. Then on the left hand side, we are going to add 2 beads, and we cross both ends of the line into the last one added. So you want to keep up with this particular step until you get all the way around this part, but I want you to stop at the second to the last one as usual. Let's go. I have beaded all the way round, and I'm right here on the second to the last one. Let's complete that real quick. On the left, we add 2 beads, and we cross both ends into the last one, and now it's complete. To complete the last one there, if you look closely, you will notice 2 beads right there in total. Why? That is because this is a dead end, and we're going to go into those 2 beads with the right hand side of our line. Then we take one more bead, and we cross both ends of the line into that bead to close the gap. And finally, we are done with the side of this bag. This is what your work should look like. It should be firm and sturdy like this. So for this design, I created 2 sides in total. You need to do that as well. Let's keep one aside first. It is now time for another important step, that is building the body of this bag. So right where we are, we want to start a row. And to do that, on the left hand side of the line, we are going to add 3 beads. Then we cross both ends of the line into the last one added. Draw that down, make sure your work is tight, okay? And this is what you have. You have made the first ring on the first row. To continue, the right hand side of the line would go into the next bead there. Then on the left hand side, you are going to add 2 beads, and you cross both ends of the line into the last one added. Yeah, so we just created the second ring on the first row. To continue, the right hand side goes into the next bead, and just like we did, on the left hand side, we want to add 2 beads, and we cross both ends of the line into the last one added. So I want you to keep up with this particular step until you get all around this side. Do that until you get all the way around, but I want you to stop there at the second to the last one. Do not go into that last one. You'll find out why later. I have beaded all the way around, and I am right here on the second to the last one. So let's complete that. The right hand side of the line would go into the next bead, but this time on the same right hand side, I'm going to add 2 beads and not on the left. Why? Because this is where we're going to stop. We are done. I'm not going into that last one because this defines the opening in the clutch. I won't be going into that last bead there. This is my final bust stop right here at the second to the last bead. So let's add the 2 beads to the right hand side of our line, not the left this time. So let's do that. Then we cross both ends of the line into the last one added, and it takes us right there to the other side. So this is what we have. We just completed the first row of the body of the bag. It is now time to create a new row, and to do that, on this part of the line we are going to add 3 beads. Then we cross both ends of the line into the last one added. Now the first ring on the second row is complete. To continue, the right hand side of the line would go into the next bead, Then on the left we add 2 beads. This is our usual routine, yeah. Add 2 beads to the left and you cross into the last one added. So keep this step going until you get all the way around. I want to repeat that part we did earlier so you can understand it better before I leave you to finish everything on your own. Let's go. I am right here on the second to the last one. Let's complete that. To the left we add 2 beads and we cross both ends of the line into the last one added. It is now time to complete the final one. So right here I will pass the right hand side of my line through the next bead. Still on that right hand side, I'm going to add 2 beads, then I cross both ends of the line into the last one added. And finally, the second row is complete. So this is all you need to know about building the body of this bag. I will keep building the rows. I have done 2 rows so far, so I'm gonna keep up with these steps until I get 4 rows. So let's go. I am done with that. Like I said earlier, I was going to build up 4 rows in total. So this is what my work looks like so far. Remember the second side of the bag, we want to repeat all that we have done to that part as well. But this one I made it 3 rows in total because I was working with limited amount of beads. Okay, I didn't want to exceed my limit. It is now time for another important step, that is joining both ends of this side to make it a whole bag. We want to take both ends of the bag, make sure they are properly aligned. Then you cut out a fresh fishing line, okay? But firstly, we're going to pass 1 bead through it like this. Now I want you to look closely at the edges right here. Look at those beads right there. I'm gonna pass our line through it. The right would go to the right and the left would go to the left. Then we take 1 more bead and we cross both ends of the line into that bead. Draw that all the way down. Now the first one has been locked in. To continue, let's repeat what we just did. Both sides of the line go into both sides of the bead there. So the right would go to the right and the left would go to the left. Then we take 1 more bead and we cross both ends of the line into that bead. Draw that all the way down. Now the second one has been locked in. To proceed, repeat what we just did. Both sides of the line would go into both sides of the bead. Then we take 1 more bead and we cross both ends of the line into that bead. Now the third one has been locked in. So this is all you need to know about joining both ends of this side to form a whole bag. You're going to keep up with this step until you get all around here, and when you get here you just pass around your fishing line and cut off the excess. So let's go. I'm finally done with that, and this is what my work looks like so far. As you can see, it is neatly joined. This is what yours should look like at the end of everything. It is now time for another important step, that is defining the structure of this bag. The sides of this bag has a little depth and the front part looks a bit taller. To do that, we are going to add extra rows on all sides. On this part we add 1 extra row, on this part we add 1 extra row, but on this part we add 2 extra rows because it's going to look a bit taller. So let's do that. To start, we want to cut out a fresh fishing line. So right there on that bead on the edge, not the other one. Remember this, we're not going into this because it defines the opening in between the clutch. So we're going to go into that bead right there on the edge, pass our line through it, draw that all the way out to make sure your line is of equal length, okay? Then on the left hand side of the line, you are going to add 3 beads.
Then you cross both ends of your line into the last one added. Draw that down, and this is what you should have. You just created the first line on the first row. To continue, the right hand side of the line would go into the next bead. Then on the left hand side, you are going to add 2 beads, and you cross both ends of the line into the last one added. This is our usual routine, right? You want to keep up with this step until you get all the way around. So let's go. I have beaded all the way around. Now let's complete the last one, and finally it is complete. So from here on, I'm just going to pass around my fishing line and cut off the excess. This is what it looks like so far. You notice the depth on the side, right? It's a little bit different from this other side, so you want to repeat everything we have done to this part as well. I am done with that. Now both sides have depth to it. Now we have just the front parts left. Remember, the goal was to put 1 row on each side and 2 rows to the front part. So I'm going to leave you to do that on your own. I have already taught you how to build a row. So let's go. I am done with that, and this is what my work looks like. As you can see, the front part looks very much taller than before. So let's give that a push. Flatten the edges till those extra 2 rows are more defined. And yeah, this is what our work looks like. It is time for another step. Right here, we want to add volume to the first row of those 2 extra rows we added earlier, okay? Remember, this is the original height of the bag. These are the 2 extra rows we added. So the first of those 2 extra rows there, we're going to add a volume to it. We'll cut out some fishing line. Then we're going to pass it through that first bead right there. Draw that out. Make sure your line is of equal length. Then on the left hand side of the line, you are going to add 3 beads. Then you cross both ends of your line into the last one added. Then you draw that all the way down. This is what you should have. To continue, the right hand side would go through that next bead right there. Pass your line through it. Then on the left hand side, you are going to add 2 beads. Then you cross both ends of the line into the last one added. To continue, let's repeat what we just did. The right hand side of the line would go through the next bead right there. Pass your line through it. Then on the left hand side, you are going to add 2 beads, and you cross both ends into the last bead added. This is our usual routine of 2 beads. Let's keep up with this step until we get all the way around this part. Okay, let's go. I have beaded round. I am now on the second to the last one. So let's complete that with 2 beads on the left, then we cross both ends into the last one. It is now time to complete the last one, and as usual, the last part is always a dead end. So we're going to pass our line through those 2 beads right there. Then we take 1 more bead and we cross both ends of the line into that bead to close the gap. So let's do that. Draw that down, and now it is closed, but it is still not complete. We still have 1 more step to go. You have to close that gap right there in the middle. So to proceed, the right hand side of the line would go through those 2 beads I pointed at. Then we take 1 more bead and we cross both ends of the line into that bead. We just closed the first gap. To continue, both sides of the line would go through those 2 beads there. the right would go to the right, and the left would go to the left. Then we take one more bead and we cross both ends of the line into that bead to close the gap. I think this part is familiar. Yeah, we have done something similar when we're joining the body of this bag. So this is what you want to keep up with until you get all the way down. And when you get all the way down, you just pass around your fishing line and cut off the excess. Let's go. I am done, and this is what my work looks like. So I'm going to repeat everything I did here to this other side as well. Let's do that. I am finally done with that. This is what my work looks like so far. As you can see, the volume has been added to the bag. So this is what your work should look like as well. It is time for another step, that is adding the magnetic buttons to the bag. Firstly, we want to separate them. Then we'll go ahead to flatten the ends of this button. Just press down on it like this. It's not hard to do. Okay, this is what it should look like. Repeat the same thing to the other side as well. And yeah, it is ready. Let us now locate where these magnetic buttons will be. We'll open it up like this. From the edge, I will count 2 beads inwards. The second bead right there, then I'm going to trace it downwards. Remember those 2 extra rows we added the other time? We're going to go into the second row right there. Okay, I hope that's clear. So I will pass my line through the bottom bead there. Draw that out. Make sure your line is of equal length. Then I'll take the magnetic buttons. I'm going to pass my line through it like this. The left would go to the left, and the right would go to the right. Draw that down. Then, to make sure it is placed firmly, I'm going to locate the top bead of that second row we went into, okay? That bead right there. But this time, we are going to pass our line across the bead. Let's locate the bead again. This bead right there. So take the left hand side to the right and the right hand side to the left. Finally, we are done adding that. From here on, I'm just going to pass around my fishing line to make sure that button is firmly rooted into that part of the bag, okay? So let's do that, and when you are done passing around, you cut off the excess fishing line. Let's go. I am done with that, and this is what my work looks like. Let's do the opposite side together. Remember, you locate the second bead inwards, then trace down to the second row downwards, then still at the bottom bead of the second row, you pass your line through it. Take your magnetic button and pass both ends of the line through it. The left goes to the left, the right goes to the right. Draw that all the way down. Then you connect it to the top bead of the second row. Okay, let's do that. Pass it across. The right goes to the left and the left goes to the right. Once that is done, you pass around your fishing line firmly around that part of the bag. Then you cut off the excess. So guys, this is all you need to know about adding the magnetic button to your bag. You will also repeat everything we have done to the other side of the bag. Remember, it is 2 beads inwards and 2 beads downwards. Let's go. I am done attaching the magnetic button and it works so well. So this is what you want to achieve. This is what your work should look like. It is time to add the fringes to the bag. Let's bring out our lighter size of fishing line. Cut out some of that fishing line. Now look closely at the edge there. That is those extra rows we added. I'm going to pass my fishing line around it until I get to the top bead right there, because I want my line to be firmly rooted into the bag. So I'll proceed to pass around my line until I get all the way to the top bead right there. I am right here on the top. I want you to look closely at where I came out from. I came out from the original height of this bag. I didn't go into any of those added rows. I just came out of the original height. Okay, and from now on I'm just going to fill up the strand of line with beads, and the pattern of this fringe is going to be 5 crystals, 2 sugar beads, 5 crystals, 3 sugar beads, and 3 crystals. Did you get that? Well, let's go. I am done adding the pattern of beads, and this is what I have: 5 crystals, 2 sugar beads, 5 crystals, 3 sugar beads, and 3 crystals. From here on, I'm going to trace back through this strand of beads. But firstly, let's exclude that last crystal bead. It is going to serve as a stopper for our fringe. So we're going to trace back upwards now. I have traced all the way up and I am right here. So this is what my work looks like so far. As you can see, that last bead served as a stopper, like I said earlier. So right here, you can decide to pass your line through the next bead, but that would make your fringes scanty, and I don't want that. I want a fuller fringe. So from here on, before I pass the line through the next bead, I'm going to add an extra strand of beads. I will follow the same pattern of 5 crystals, 2 sugar beads, 5 crystals, 3 sugar beads, and 3 crystals. I am done adding the beads. From here on, we are going to repeat what we did earlier. We will exclude the last crystal because it's going to serve as a stopper for our fringe. Then we trace the beads upwards back to the top. Let's do that. I am right here at the top, and yes, I am satisfied with the fullness of the fringe. So it is now time to pass the line through the next bead there. Going to pass it into that bead there. And yeah, so it connects to the other side, and that paves way for a new fringe to be placed. So this is all you need to know about attaching the fringe. Now that we have connected to the other side, we're going to add a new strand of bead. Then we bead it all the way down. Then we trace it back up. And when we trace it back up, we come down again. That is all you need to do to finish up the fringe for this bag. At this point, I'm going to leave you to finish this up on your own. Let's go. And you all, we are finally done with our bag. This is what our work looks like so far. As you can see, the fringes are full and nice. You can also decide to make this a double-sided fringe. I think that would be very beautiful as well. I also added an extra gold chain. I just clipped it on the side, okay? That is for the versatility of the purse. There isn't much to it. It's very simple to do. Just clip it on the side there. Alright everyone, so that concludes today's tutorial. I really hope you found this one helpful. If you did, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and share to your friends who may find it helpful, okay? I'm going to see you all in my next tutorial. Goodbye.